Some draft prospects split the room, others are flying way under the radar, and a few? I'm planting the flag right now. Let's talk polarizing players, draft sleepers, and my guys in this 25 NFL draft breakdown.
If you love the NFL draft, if you love football, if you love all that good stuff, make sure you hit subscribe on the YouTube channel now. Welcome back to the Gridiron Drive, and let's get right into it. I am Anthony Correnti, joined as always with my co-host Peter Traina, and we're going to kick things off with some polarizing prospects. The guys everyone has a take on. No two takes look the same. High ceiling, low floor, tons of middle ground, tons of debate. And where could you start besides Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah.
Quarterback from Colorado. Is he a top 3 pick, or is he going back half of round 1? What are we thinking about Shedeur these days?
I mean, it really depends on who you talk to. You know, I'm a Giants fan, and I feel like there's no fan base that's split, really highlights Shedeur Sanders more than the Giants fans. Some people are, you have to take, 3rd overall. Some people are, I don't know about that, Jim. But listen, he's accurate, right? He could take a hit. He's tough, but there's definitely some issues with his arm talent and just the Sanders stuff. He's not a bad guy, but it has to be spoken about. In 3rd overall, I don't know if we were talking about 3rd overall last year, like say if he came out last year. So I don't think so. What do you think about Shedeur?
I think it is, look, we're contributing to it right now by doing this, but I'm so tired of the Shedeur Sanders discourse because I think it's 1,000% that. I think we're talking about average to decent quarterback prospect in a pretty bad quarterback class. I think that he has a good but not great arm, and he's got other problems to his game. I think he holds the ball too long. I think he's not supremely athletic in the sense that he's not going to create a ton or not one of these, athletic aliens that we see come into the NFL. I think he's a fine quarterback prospect that, like, in an ordinary class should probably go like mid to late round 1. Demand could definitely push him up higher than that. But I think that, I don't know, I have a hard time still buying that like Cleveland pulls the trigger at 2. I don't think the Giants will or should take him at 3. And then outside of that, it's like, I guess the next spot is really the Saints. Like that feels like the next logical spot. Do the Saints pull the trigger? Because if not, I mean, it could be to 21 to the Steelers, right? Like
that's I think the spot right there. And I maybe he wants to be a top 5, top 10 pick, but like that is a great landing spot for a quarterback, especially for him. He's got a rock solid head coach, a pretty good team, great defense. I would be happy if I was a quarterback, and that's where I landed.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Well, do you want to pivot to a guy who is uber athletic for the quarterback position, Mr. Jalen Milroe from Alabama? Ooh, Milroe. I said that a little funky. But, you're the big Bama guy. I mean, off the charts athleticism, right? Rocket arm. He didn't really show that at the Senior Bowl. A little alarming, but fast as lightning. And, there's concerns about his throwing the football and his mechanics and his consistency. So he's your ideal, like, early day 2 quarterback. I could see him slipping, not slipping, but I could see him getting picked late round 1, somebody doing the, they want the 5th-year option type deal. What do you think about Mr. Milroe?
I think it's telling that the NFL invited him to the draft.
Yes.
Yeah, like with the number of prospects that they invite now for Milroe to be one of them, it's at least made you perk up a little bit. But somebody, not sure who it's going to be, but somebody's going to fall in love with the tools. Like Milroe should not see the field year 1. Somebody needs to take him. Like, it feels easy, like at the surface, to be like, I wish it was the Giants, like trading up at the top of round 2. I just don't know if that plan really like comes to fruition, because I feel like Dable's a great guy to try and develop Milroe and like rein in some of the traits and some of the accuracy issues. Like, we know the history with Josh Allen, all that stuff. But I just don't know if they say they traded up from the top of round 2 to take Milroe late round 1, so they have the 5th-year option, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
If things go poorly to start the season with Russ, like, I don't know if turning to Milroe in year 1 is a great, like, you know, great development-wise, great for the player. And I don't know if it doesn't go great this year, if there's a whole lot that saves Dable and Shane's job there. So
Yeah.
I worry then if it's like, oh, the Giants traded up for Milroe, and then if they get canned, like, okay, well, who's the next guy? But somebody's going to fall in love with the trades. Like, there's tools for days there. You just have to believe in the staff to mold them into it. But I don't think it's nothing that the NFL invited him to.
No, for sure. I think, and Dayball, he is a Bama guy, and I know he takes a lot of stock into what Saban says, and I know Saban, obviously, bias aside, has spoken very highly of Milroe. So that would be a cool landing spot. And I think the Giants, like, staff, the GM and the coach, I think their hot seat is probably exaggerated a bit more than we think. And I have no input into that, but I imagine that they went into this offseason like, hey, we have to, like, get a shot at our quarterback. This year it's kind of if we can get Cam, awesome. But if not, like, you have to give us a chance. And I think if the situation happens where they're losing and they go to Milroe and they just, like, let's see what we have. And maybe even if he just shows a little bit of, like, brightness, they're not going to be canned, I don't think. But I think
you want me to give you my super hot Jalen Milroe take that I don't think this actually happens, but I would kind of love to see it on draft day?
Let's hear it.
Rams take him round 1. McVay gets his hands on him. You have Stafford still, right? Like, you could play the slow game with Milroe a little bit. I just don't know if they're willing to, pull the trigger on round 1 QB and pretty firmly win now.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good roster. Like,
yeah,
you might be in the spot where you could do it. So I don't, like, with my full heart of hearts, believe that the Rams are turning in the Jalen Milroe card, but it would be fun.
That would be fun.
I don't think you can 100% rule it out. Let's just say
imagine just him running the ball with that offense. And, like, oh, that would be fun.
It would be fun.
Right,
should we talk about everybody's now least favorite wide receiver, because we're in peak overthink season and everybody hates Teteroa McMillan for some reason? But Tet McMillan, he's no longer the belle of the ball, I think, for a lot of people. He felt like consensus wide receiver 1 coming into all this. Where are we at on Tet?
Does the NFL draft media and the pundits, do they hate McMillan more than McMillan hates football?
People are wondering. People are asking.
When that came out, I was like, oh, here we go, man. You got to stop talking about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that matters as much. If you're good at football, some people are great at their job and, they don't like accounting. They're just good at it, Just happens to be a football player. Listen, man, he's big. He's got fantastic hands. He's I think he's going to be a freaking monster out there. And I think we're overthinking it a little bit. I really do. Maybe he's not Mike Evans, but God, he's surely a first-round talent, top-end first-round talent. I think it's just gone way too far.
Yeah, I think people are overreacting, as they do sometimes with these big guys, like freaking out about, can he separate at the next level? We did the same thing with Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a concern for me. And look, to your point, we're not an NBA podcast, but Nikola Jokic pretty much hates playing basketball.
Yeah.
And he might be the best basketball player on planet Earth. Like, all right, sometimes you just got to do what you're good at.
Look. Just clock in, man. Just clock in.
Get the check. No, I still really like Tet, man. I think he can be a bona fide number 1 on a lot of offenses. And look, this class overall, it lacks some size, some, like, premier perimeter guys that play with size, and Tet, I think, is the best at that in the class still. Travis Hunter aside, because I don't know how you want to rank him as a wide receiver, but talking about best pure wide receivers, I don't think Tet can be worse than second for me, depending on if you want to lump Hunter in the wide receiver group or kind of his own unicorn positionless group there.
Yeah, I think if Hunter was solely a wide receiver, I think there's a conversation to be had there, but
yeah,
he's not.
Yeah, agreed. How about Siobhan Ravel? Switch things over to the defensive side of the ball. What do we think about Siobhan Ravel?
Yeah, I mean, JUCO guy, big frame, physical, got injured this year, but I don't know. I kind of like this guy, man. I think he's got. We kind of went away for a while from those like those big cornerbacks, and then there's a couple guys. Who's that guy that the Seahawks drafted? I'm thinking he's from. My God, I gotta pull this up now. He was like a day 3 cornerback. Anyway, these big cornerbacks, I love them. I don't know. I don't think you need to have like the fastest guy in the field, but he did get injured. People are a little worried about that, but I don't know, man. He's going to be able to be a press man corner, and I'd love my corners to be that kind of guy. What do you think about him? I know he's got the ACL, so that's alarming, but I feel like everybody stopped talking about him.
Yeah, I feel like without that, we're certainly talking about him in a much more positive light. I agree. A big corner can be a game changer for any defense. Somebody that can play press man with size is, everybody loves to root for a small, feisty corner, but a big guy who can control a wide receiver at the line is a big boom or big boost to any defensive scheme for sure. Should we parlay him with another injured corner and just
Tariq Woolen, by the way, that's who I was thinking of. Yes,
there you go. Benjamin Morrison,
yes,
Notre Dame corner. I feel like without the injuries, man, it's like there's not a lot to not like about Morrison.
Right.
And I don't know. I get having to answer the injury concerns, but man, when you take him away, I don't know how many guys play cornerback better than him in this class.
Yeah, he's smart. He's like smooth. He's athletic. Like if it wasn't for the double hip, I feel like he's like a top 20 lock. I don't know, man. This is a guy that I'm hoping falls to the Giants, day 2 early.
If he's right, someone's going to get big value on him.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate with these injuries, especially a hip on a cornerback. That's a little scary, but like he's got high football IQ. From everything I'm reading, he's a mature kid. Like, God, and he's only 21. Like, I'm willing to take that risk, and I think somebody might pull that trigger late round 1.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. It's kind of a weird corner group. Everybody's got their questions. And it seems like everybody loves Jahdae Barron.
Yeah.
But, outside of that, it's like, Will Johnson has believers and non-believers. And then they all kind of have question marks.
Amos, like I could see Morrison going above him. I know Maxwell Harrison's getting a little buzz lately, and he's been shooting up the boards. But God, Benjamin Morrison, man, he could really be a steal for some team.
Yeah, I agree totally. The concerning thing is the hip more than once. That definitely makes you pause for a second. But if he's right, someone's going to get big time value on him for sure.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the beauty of it, right? You're balancing risk and reward. One general manager might see a starter, somebody else sees an injury gamble. That's the beauty and the chaotic nature of this lovely, lovely NFL draft that we obsess over each and every year.
All right, now let's talk about the names that aren't getting the buzz, man. But maybe they should be. These are your day 2, day 3 guys. Let's start with your guy here. Jalen Royals.
I was going to say, if you think that if you've been on this podcast feed or YouTube channel before and you think we were doing this without bringing up Jalen Royals, you would be sorely mistaken, folks. I don't know, man. It's like, I still feel like Jalen Royals is underrated. I thought like we would make it to this point in the pre-draft process and the hype would have caught up a little bit. And, I think he's pretty consistently ranked as like a top 10-ish wide receiver. I feel like you pretty consistently see him like 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. I still think he's one of the 5 best wide receivers in this class. I think when it comes to purely playing wide receiver, that there are less questions with Jalen Royals than there are with some of these other guys that we've seen hyped lately. He tested well. He could play inside. He could play outside. He's a natural hands catcher. I think the only question that you have is, he played at Utah State. But I don't, to me, when you watch what he put on film at Utah State, it's not that he just dominated lower level of competition with like supreme athleticism, right? Like to me, he won as somebody that's already a pretty refined route runner. He won with pretty good technical skills. And that I think translates. So Royals, if he falls to round 3, like I think he should go earlier than that, but I think there's a chance that a team takes him in round 3. I think you're getting a guy that can start day 1 Like, I really think that he's going to be able to contribute in his rookie year. I think he'd be great from the slot, but I think you can play him outside as well. Love Jalen Rose. Big Jalen Rose fan. Hype train's not slowing down here.
I think these wide receivers, since it's not like last year's class, I think they're all just getting bumped down and people aren't as excited about them. But let's pivot to probably the strongest position group in this draft. One of the strongest position groups in this draft, Rutgers running back. Kyle, my guy, your guy, Monangai.
We love Kyle Monangai. And again, like you said, just the depth of the running back class, has pushed Kyle Monangai's name down. And I know he didn't test great. I got to be honest, though, if there's a position where like I kind of care the least about testing great, it's running back. Like your running back is not running 40 yards in a straight line untouched all that often. And
Get me first downs.
Exactly. He's a bowling ball, just contact balance for days, a physical runner, good in short yardage. I really like Kyle Monangai. I think he's a day 3 player. Like, I think he should get drafted. Like, I think he's a draftable running back. The testing will put him down for some people, but look, we've seen plenty of running backs who have run poorly or tested poorly, and it didn't end up mattering because what they shine at, whether it's contact balance, vision, all that stuff, it outweighs it. I'm a big Kyle Monangai fan. What do you think?
I mean, you nailed it there. I mean, tough physical running. I love everything about his game. I think that's what I want in my running back. He's gonna get you first downs. He's just a tough son of a bitch. You know what I mean? That when you think of running back, that's the kind of guy that I think about when I'm like putting together my team in my head. So I love him. Day 3. He'll hammer out a role for himself.
Yeah, I agree. Let's throw some love to the defense. How about Billy Bowman Jr., the safety from Oklahoma?
Yeah, man, he's a ball hawk, and I don't know why he's really not getting talked about that much. I mean, maybe because the safety position isn't really hot this year. I mean, there's the 2 guys up top, but I mean, God, he's a 4-star recruit. I guess he's not really a great tackler, but he's got some range, man, and I think that at worst, he's going to have sub packages that he'll get on the field. And I think for where he's getting mocked, 4th, 5th round plus, I think he's going to be an absolute steal.
Yeah, a guy with that kind of range that you can play like a true like single high type is always super valuable. And especially if you can roll the dice on day 3, I think that's an absolutely worthwhile gamble to take.
I mean, when you're picking guys that late, I always have to have give me one trait. And if you're an absolute ball hawk,
that one plays. That's that one that plays.
That'll do it.
All right, how about Charles Grant, offensive lineman from William and Mary? Show the small school guys some love.
Yeah, this is another, like I said, we've talked about a couple small school guys now, but I like Charles Grant. I think he'll probably end up kicking inside, and I know that's what everybody says about every offensive tackle, but he's got a ton of athleticism, and obviously he's a little bit raw, but I think he's got the body. I mean, he's 6'4", 300. I think there's a lot there that you could develop into a solid guard. He's a wrestler. I love that.
Yeah. Knows the leverage game.
Yep. Yeah, and listen, when you're like, he's probably going to be a day 3 guy. I'm looking for traits day 3, and he's got the size, he's got the athleticism. He just played in William and Mary, so nobody really knows about him. So there's not great tape on him, but I think he can carve out a role. Maybe not this year, but I'm willing to take a flyer on a guy like that.
For sure, and those are the type of guys that round out your roster, right? The guys that overachieve their draft slot. You swing on day 3, you hit the late round picks that make some of these front offices and general managers look like geniuses, like they played it smart all along. So show the day 2 and day 3 guys some love. We're rooting for you.
All right, now it's time for my guys, our guys, the players that we're personally betting on. We don't care about the buzz. We love their tape, their traits, and what they bring to the next level. And so let's start with, I think this would be my guy. Let's talk about Azariah Thomas here, because I think we're going to skip that first guy, right? So let's talk about Azariah Thomas. Sticky in coverage, fluid. I don't know why, honestly, he's not getting as much love. He's being projected probably like late day 2. I mean, he's another guy, long. He's a press man corner. It's almost 200 pounds. I think at worst he's a cornerback too. You have anything to say about Azariah?
Yeah, he's somebody that it would not shock me if a team absolutely loved him and took him higher than people are projecting right now, because I think he's a really, really solid player. And given what we said earlier about the corner group, that everybody kind of has some lingering questions about them, it wouldn't shock me at all if some team came out of it and was like, you know what, we just like Azariah Thomas the best out of what's left here, and took him either way earlier on day 2 than people are thinking right now, or even if he snuck into the end of round 1. I wouldn't be totally floored, honestly, given some of the questions around the other guys. I just think the position group itself, it has upside for sure, but it also has a lot of guys that have questions that need answering. And I think Thomas is a really, really rock solid corner.
And if you're doing helmet scouting, that's DBU, right?
DBU. Gotta respect it. All right, we have to. We're contractually obligated to bring up Jack Besh.
Mm-hmm.
We are simply required to. Jack Besh is just a good football player. Sometimes it's not hard. Sometimes you don't have to overcomplicate it. I know Jack Besh is not the most fancy player. He's not the fastest guy. There's nothing the most exciting about him, but he's just a rock solid possession receiver that is going to be very good for probably 10 years. Like, he just feels like a guy that's going to be a very solid contributor for a team for 5 to 10 years, and you're going to feel really good about it. What do you think about Besh?
He's a real lunch pail kind of guy,
right? Gritty. Coach's son.
No, man, listen, like you pretty much nailed it. I mean, he's just a guy that you want on your team. He showed out in the Senior Bowl through all the adversity. I don't know. There's just something that there's intangibles. They don't always matter, but I don't know. He just seems like a winner. He's obviously talented. What was his 40? Was that a 4.5?
I think he might have run just sub 4.5 if I remember right.
Yeah, regardless, that doesn't matter to me. Like, he's a basketball player. I mean, he's going to be your typical big slot guy. I mean, 6'2", 215. He's got good hands. He just seems like a guy that I'd want to draft.
Didn't run at the combine. 10 foot 5-inch broad jump, 34.5-inch vertical, 6'8", 4.3 cone. Didn't run the 40. But yes, we do love Jack Besh. 6'1", 214 pounds. Just a good football player. I think like a really solid wide receiver 2 type.
Yeah. And you need those on your team. All right. Now, this is probably my guy, not Anthony's guy, but I would love to talk about Mr. Jackson Dart here.
Go off, King.
Listen, I'm not saying he's a quarterback 1 in this draft at all. I'm not even saying he's...
No. You're saying take him 3rd overall.
Take him 3rd overall. Screw the haters. No, listen, obviously, he needs to learn how to play quarterback under center. I think obviously that offense was tailor-made for one read, and he hit it, but he hit it. He was good. He was good at it, man. He could obviously throw the football. His, advanced metrics are all great. He's got decent size, 6'2", 225. He attacks all levels of the field. He's first in deep yards this year. 6th in average depth of target. Big time throw rate of 6th overall. I mean, he's got obvious warts, and I think he's a guy who probably shouldn't start as well. But man, he's another guy, kind of like Milroe, polar opposites, where they're not the same quarterback prospect, but he's like your prototypical day 2, top end round 2 quarterback that you want to. I know those guys mostly don't work out. God, I just feel like there's something there, and I don't know. I wouldn't want him, top 10, but if I could see Pittsburgh taking him 21.
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah. And he's a decent athlete too.
Yeah, and look, it would be great if you got to see Dart coming from a system that you felt like played a more pro style game, or But the sooner we all make peace with the fact that these college coaches are not truly in the business of developing professionals, they're in the business of trying to win college football games. It is what it is. Lane system is what it is at Ole Miss. It's fun. It's a video game. But yeah, he'll have to learn to play from under center. But there's tools there. There is tools there. And I think if you could take him top of round 2, there's definitely worse things that could happen for sure.
Absolutely.
I simply refuse to do a My Guys segment and not talk about Devin Neal. Don't anybody even think about commenting to me, he ran 4.58 in the 40.
Don't care.
I do not care. We do not care. We simply do not care. Devin Neal is a rock solid running back, a good all-around running back, can do a little bit of everything, who's going to lack that big, buzzy athleticism that's probably going to push him into day 3. But it's such a deep running back class. And if you take Devin Neal on day 3, you're getting a good one. Just, I don't know, man. We've picked apart this player. Like, everybody loved him a year ago, and then kind of all he did was go back to school and do the same thing. So I'm still really high on the player. He's got good size, can contribute in kind of all facets of the running back position. I think he's got really great vision and can do a little bit of everything for you. And I think if somebody, takes him on day 3, you're getting really solid value in a running back that you can probably plop in there as a starter or like a 1B in a committee pretty comfortably, like right away.
Yeah, and he's also like a pretty capable 3-down back. Like, I love how you said he just came back and did the same exact thing. His stats are almost identical from last year. Like, yards are about 18 off, the same touchdowns, 1 more reception, same amount of targets, about 40 more yards and receiving yards. I mean, he just consistent. He's steady. He's great footwork, great vision. I think he's a souped up Kyle Manum guy.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that's a good way to put it.
I could see somebody taking him with one of those comp picks. So late, round 3.
Yeah. I hope he sneaks into day 2.
Yeah.
I'll be so hyped if he sneaks into day 2. All right. Anybody else you want to shout out real quick before we wrap it up?
I think that's it, man. I think we just hit enough guys here.
All right, cool. That's the breakdown. Polarizing prospects, potential steals, and the guys that we're riding with this draft season. We want to hear from you. Who are your guys? Who are you fading? Did we pick your guys or did we pick other guys? Drop the takes in the comments. Let us know if you like our guys or if you've got some My Guys of your own. Like the video if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe and hit the bell if you want more NFL draft talk. We'll have betting picks as the season approaches, fantasy talk right around the corner. We're going to get into all that good stuff. The draft is here. It's right around the corner. Just come on. We're going to have plenty to react to, plenty more to talk about as it keeps getting a little bit closer here. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Keep the drive alive. Don't forget to like and subscribe.